Welcome back to the podcast, y'all. Once again, it's your girl Hannah here on this fourth and final Wednesday of January. I literally can't believe the first month of 2022 is already gone. But all that to say, super excited to be back with you again. And if you've not yet listened to the other podcasts for this month, please go do that. Last week, I was joined by Jim Bob Haggerton, the one, the only, to talk about productivity and how you can best set yourself up for success within productivity each and every day. But this week, we're going to kind of bounce off of that and talk about energy. Obviously, the two go hand in hand, but you kind of need productivity to kind of impact your energy. You also need energy to kind of be productive. So once again, Jim Bob, thank you for being with us. And we love you so much and just thankful for all that you do for us.
Thanks for having me back, Hannah. Yeah, I think they kind of go hand in hand. I mean, I don't think you could be productive if you don't have energy. But I think the more productive you are, the more energy you have, right?
Yeah.
Like, because you feel like you're getting stuff done and you're actually moving forward and getting progress on stuff, which always makes me excited. I mean, like the more productive I get, it pumps me up and the rest of my day goes well, right? So, when I think of energy, there's a couple things that really come to mind that I really focus on, like, because I go into patient mode. So I'm like, okay, if someone comes to me and they said, hey, I have low energy, right? Well, there's only a couple of different reasons why that'll happen. Yeah. Okay. So lifestyle wise, are they getting enough sleep? Are they drinking enough water? Are they getting enough protein in the day? Are they eating too much sugar at night? Yeah. Are they eating too many carbs, period? Like, are they carb loading and not even paying attention to their macros? Like, there's several different things like that can really affect it. I mean, like if they're not getting enough protein, it affects blood sugar long-term. Yeah. If they're not getting enough water and they're dehydrated, and they're not going to sleep well, if they're not sleeping well, then the whole day's shot, right? So there's a lot of things like that can really get messed up. Then, I mean, if they're like eating junk all the time and it's messing up their gut and their gut gets messed up, well, then it's going to mess up their neurotransmitters. They're not going to get the same amount of brain function. They're not going to get the same amount of activity. Like, all of that gets thrown off. So looking at the basics, let's just say that those are all, normal and they're doing pretty good and all that. Then there's a couple things that I look at. I go, okay, well, if you're having low energy, I'm like, is it more in the first part of the day or is it in the last part of the day? Like, do you wake up and you're just exhausted, period? And if someone wakes up and they literally can barely get out of bed because they're so exhausted, then I immediately go, okay, your adrenal glands are fried. Yeah. Like, you have adrenal fatigue. Like, we need to work on that. Your blood sugar's off. You don't have the glands that actually, help you with that sleep-wake cycle. Your cortisol is probably all over the place. And so we start focusing on that, because if the adrenal glands get weak, which lots of people's are, and then over the last 2 years of all the pandemic nonsense, a lot more people's adrenal glands are fried now. That will affect energy in itself, period. Right. That's one thing. But then if someone has any other endocrine things going on, if they have thyroid problems, that could cause energy issues. If their hormones are out of balance, right? Yeah. That could cause energy issues. If it's a female and she's on her cycle and she's having really heavy cycles, then she could be anemic. Anemia will cause energy issues because, your iron levels get too low. So it's just questions. It's really like, and I try to teach people all the time to ask themselves questions like, when am I feeling it? Well, I'm feeling it more in the afternoon, or well, I'm actually feeling it all day long. I just feel exhausted all day long, every day. Okay, then that's probably anemia. Like, you probably either are low in iron or you're low in B vitamins, and you have one of the two. Those are both anemia. One is iron deficiency anemia, and one is called pernicious or megaloblastic anemia. I mean, they're all anemia. And all of that causes weakness, and the whole body just won't really run, and it's all run down. So finding those things, and, as a normal person that's not a geek like me that's thinking through all that nonsense, then you can just try some of it. You're like, hey, maybe I need to sleep more, like maybe I should drink more water. Maybe I should try a B vitamin, and just like boost myself up that way. Maybe I should really like change up my diet a little bit and see if I do better eating a more meat-based diet, or taking out red meat and eating more of like a lean white meat diet, whatever, like, whatever the thing is, that makes a huge difference. Yeah.
I love that, Jim Bob. And I think something that, as I've gone through a health and wellness journey, I mean, it's no joke. Once you kind of start down this path, like, you just kind of encounter so many things. And I don't think I realized until the last couple of years about energy in and of itself, that there's negative energy and there's positive energy. And I think we talk about, supporting our diet, how what we do, how we sleep, but also like energy, like when we're around certain people and we're drained, or when we go into a group of people and we feel either negative energy or we feel like super positive energy. And I think one thing I'm learning is how to protect that. I've always said I'm an emotional sponge. I can walk into a room and I can audit and this has been something, Jim Bob, I've grown in. By the grace of God, I've gotten through this. And I turned 30 in April of this year. So I used to walk into a room, and if someone was having a bad day, it was automatically my fault. I didn't even have to know them. It was because I walked in the room, they were upset. Right. And so I became this absorber and like took on everyone's energy. And I would go into a room super happy and like, what's up? And then I'd leave like super down. And so I think something else I'm learning for being productive is not letting other people's issues or other people's garbage or baggage or trauma, whatever, as they're working through, become my own. And as I preserve and protect my energy, I am more productive rather than letting someone zap me and not having any productivity left.
Sure. So in chiropractic, I mean, we're touching people all day long, right? So when they have bad days, Cindy had a real problem with this when she got into practice, because, when you take on other people's energy, it just means you're very empathic, right? Like you're an empath. So you empathically draw energy off and it affects you. Like someone has stuff going on, you feel it right away, even if you're not real close to them. So she would get sick almost every day in the office because it would make for the first little bit. So one of the things that we started doing that we had to learn and really train in is this technique called zipping up. And it's actually this intentional, more of just a conscious choice. The way that we always described it, the way that we envisioned it was every time we walked in a room with a patient, we zipped up, like we put on a hazmat suit, to where that was literally the way we said we would do it, like put your hazmat suit on so that when you go in, their stuff's not splashing all over you. And even if it does, it's just rolling off because you've got a hazmat suit on and it doesn't matter. As far as oils and products go, the cool thing is White Angelica is literally for that. Like White Angelica is designed and was blended to help that, and Palo Santo would be another one I would pull out to get rid of negative energies, right? And to help block that really well. Or gathering oil would be another one that'd be really good. And those would be ones that I'd say, like if a person like you, when you really dealt with it a lot, if you were going to walk in an area and you knew that like going through the airport is like torture because there's a gazillion people and they're all pissed or they're all stressed and they're all like losing their minds and their kids are, freaking out and all this stuff. It's like a zoo. Then you immediately get into the airport and put those on because it protects you from a lot of that negative energy. Right. But another thing too, that I think is super key that we don't talk about hardly at all. And I guess this hasn't been as big an issue for a lot of people the last couple of years because of people having to be forced to social distance. But the way you touch people has a huge effect on whether or not you give or take energy, and whether or not their stuff gets on you. And so, one thing that we've taught all the time is like your hands have polarity. And so your left hand pushes energy out and your right hand pulls energy in. So what we've always taught our associate doctors is the first time you ever touch a patient, other than like shaking their hand, is you touch them with their left hand. Like when you go to work on them and they're laying down, we always would lay a left hand on them. So like if someone's standing there and you're talking to them and they're going to like touch you, just move in position to where you can touch them. I grab their elbow with my left hand always. And if you'll watch me when I'm at an event and I have like thousands of people that are there and and I've got a whole group that's wanting to talk to me, I 3-finger touch like an elbow or something with my left hand, because it basically sets this distance up between their energy system and yours. And it says, hey, I see the energy on you. I see the energy on me. I don't want your stuff on me. And we're good. Just stay right there. And it doesn't allow them to put it on you. But if you grab people with your right hand all the time, or you're just double handing them, or you're hugging them all the time without that preparation and knowing mentally and knowing energetically that could happen, then you're just going to pull everything on you,
That's such a good point.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, maybe intentionality, I think the word just comes back intentionality, like know yourself. And if that's going to happen, be intentional, use oils, touch people correctly, like stay away, like visually, mentally, like set yourself up for success.
Like energetically social distance.
Yeah. I mean,
we should talk about this more before convention, because I think it's going to be a good reminder for people.
I need to do a whole course on it for people before convention, because there's a lot of little things that we've done over the years that really make a huge difference. And I tell that to people. I mean, I have trained altar teams at our churches that we've been at. so that they can, they can minister to and work on, work with people at the altar and not get sick and pull their stuff off, and so it's a big deal.
That's awesome. I mean, I think it's crazy because like, I think it was a week or two ago, I went to hug an old friend and like, it was kind of one of those like, cause like I hug people, cause I'm not, but there are some people that are just now comfortable hugging people. And I feel like they haven't hugged in so long, they forgot how to hug. And so it's like, okay, well, we're good. It's like, wait, let's, like, I'm like, just give me a hug. Like, hello, good to see you. But anyway, so it's a good reminder. Yes. So Jim Bob, thank you so much.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
You really do need to do a course on that because you could even tell us something funny, like the only social distancing there should be, or something like that. Like, the only time when social distancing is actually important.
Yeah.
Or whatever it looks like.
Like the one time that you should distance from people.
Yeah. The one time that 6 feet apart is good. Stay there.
Energetically at least. Yeah.
Well, Jim Bob, as always, thank you so much for your time
and
for all you do for Ole App. We appreciate you. And once again, y'all, if you have not yet liked us on Facebook and Instagram, do that. We have tons of awesome content, giveaways, that for you as well. But once again, I'm Hannah and
Jim Bob.
Here to wrap up the month of January. We'll talk to y'all next week for the month of February. Talk to you later. Bye, guys.
Bye.